Hey guys, this is the Kamikaze team, and this is the Designing Characters from the Inside Out presentation that we did at DragonCon 2014.
Initially, we held this talk with Tim Farrel from Floyd County Studios, and we had a packed house at the panel, which was amazing considering it was our first time ever doing a talk. We had a lot of fun, and we're really looking forward to going back next year. I'm Alan Tupper, co-creator of Kamikaze.
I'm Carrie Tupper, co-creator of Kamikaze.
And this is Havana Nguyen. I'm a character artist on Kamikaze.
Originally, when we gave this talk, it was about 30 minutes runtime, but that doesn't really work for YouTube, so we're going to make this a multi-part series, much more bite-sized, so you can enjoy it at your own pace.
So what this presentation is and isn't, it is a presentation on development and design. And as far as design goes, Havana, you have a really good definition.
Design is basically the organization of visual elements to convey information. And by information, we mean the character's development, their personality, their role in the story, how they develop within the story. That's all pertinent information that goes into development and ultimately into design.
Yeah.
Right. So this is not going to be a video about character drawing or anatomy. This is about figuring out what your character looks like. And this is applicable whether you're drawing your character for animation, whether this is for live action, for film, for games, for writing. It all works the same way. This is about just figuring out in your mind's eye what your character looks like.
Yeah. So the whole thing starts with a circle. Most people think that development and design is kind of this super linear process where you start with development and you then go into design. And there is some truth to that, but really what it comes down to in the initial process, the first part, is that you can go in a circle. Development will dictate what your design looks like, and your design will often circle back around and dictate a bit about your development. And
it's worth noting that it's a common mistake I see with a lot of new creators that they'll try going the opposite way too. They'll try going linear from a design. They'll create something which is just a cool design, and then they'll be married to that design. Nothing about that design can change.
Yep.
But then they'll just try to shoehorn some sort of a character's personality and storyline into this one design, when in reality it should be much more of a cycle. So a decent example of this cyclical process in action is actually the design of Kamikaze, our main character in Kamikaze. We actually started designing Kamikaze back in around 2004, and it was the drawing in the bottom left-hand corner. And as things went along, we started to develop the character and personality. And as the show became more serious and we realized that things had to change in order to match up with the world, the design changed with it. And in 2013, you can see that the design was, kind of cartoony, a little bit soft, and that was back before we had really decided, no, we really need to make it fit the tone of the design fit the tone of the story we were telling.
So a little bit about the design and early development of Kamikaze. Kamikaze started off as a comedy that we were originally doing. The idea was that Kamikaze was, a superhero that was trying to get through college. We ultimately, the more we worked on the design, the more we looked at it and we were like, this doesn't fit a comedy at all. This doesn't look like she belongs in a comedy at all. And over time, the story developed into a way that became darker and a bit more harsh, and ultimately just wasn't a comedy anymore. So we had to reflect that. In 2012, we brought Havana on, which is where you can see some of her lovely art. But Havana has a very organic style in that she has a lot of curves, and we really had to help break that down as we went through our development process with the artwork, because originally it looked like a Saturday morning cartoon, but we were having the story wasn't a Saturday morning cartoon, and that's what people were getting from the artwork. So in 2014, we came down to what's on the right-hand side, which ultimately fits not only the character, but also the story much better.